Members of the Special Legislative Committee said they were well pleased with the testimony taken in the 2.5 days of hearings held here in Commissioner's Courtroom in Dallas. The two vending machine operators mentioned most in earlier testimony took the stand today. One refused to talk, the other answered every question. C.E. Bradshaw of National Vending was advised by his attorney Whitley Sessions not to testify. Sessions contends the committee's authority ended when the special legislative session concluded. Chairman Dick Corey rejected the claim and ordered Bradshaw to give testimony.
That the authority for your creation was not in the call of the legislature, and it has not been created since that time, and your right to carry on as a lawful body terminated with the session that created you. Therefore, we are recommending to our client that he respectfully decline to testify.
State your name.
I'm on the advice of the council, you're not going to testify.
On the advice of the council, I decline to testify before this committee on the grounds that
my counsel just stated.
The council has just stated.
Excuse me one moment. We didn't ask you to testify, Mr. Bradshaw. All I asked was that you give us your name.
Give him your name so he can identify you.
C.E. Bradshaw.
Corey said Bradshaw may be the object of criminal charges for refusing to testify. The other operator, E.L. Certain of Certain Music Company, answered all questions, confirming many things about the vending machine and tavern operations brought out earlier, but providing no new revelations.
I think from the information that you have on the report that I turned into you, sir, that of the approximately maybe 100, I think probably when we add our cigarette stall places, we have cigarette machines, so truck terminals and things like that, probably will run a few over 100. And of these, we are on notes for probably 35 of them, sir.
Would you say, generally speaking, then, that it's the tavern business where you get financially involved more so than
right, sir.
Truck
right.
stops, cafes,
right,
things of this nature?
After the hearing, committee members said they have received a lot of information not brought up in the hearing, much of it containing force and violence. Many callers have volunteered additional information since the hearings began Tuesday. Corey said more hearings will be held at times and places still to be determined.
For the purpose of the general knowledge of the public, there were other subpoenas issued that were not served because the people that they were issued were not available. The subpoenas will remain out and be served. We have served subpoenas on the general manager or some such term with the B&B vending. We have subpoenas issued for the proprietors of the same. We anticipate further hearings in this area, although not necessarily in this town.
As stated at the beginning, these hearings were to find out what, if any, new laws or changes are needed in Texas. The testimony given here and information gathered for the committee makes the members believe there are certainly some very inequitable situations and legislation is in order. However, trying to devise the right laws to prevent control of the tavern industry by vending machine companies which supply a lot of the money will be a formidable task. It's an old quandary. How do you control some operations within a supposedly free society? The things brought out here are not as bad as problems in many other cities around the country. So far, no one has been able to control the problems anywhere else. We'll look deeper into remedies and enforcement on Channel 8 News tomorrow. This is Rosser McDonald.
Well, I agree with the broadcasters that the government should not be sticking its nose into the manner and substance of reporting. I don't want to see the government in this country controlling or influencing the kind of news that we get. I think, however, that when the public is dissatisfied and wants to complain, it will insist upon having a forum for its complaints. Therefore, I propose that the industry establish its own forum. I think that there should be a National Broadcasting Council on Fairness and Accuracy in Reporting, which is established by the industry, preferably under the National Association of Broadcasters, and which functions like the grievance committee of the recognized professions: medicine, law, accounting, architecture, and the other professions.
The National Association of Broadcasters does have a code now. Would this not serve this function already?
The NAB code now is concerned primarily with commercials and with standards of taste and length of time in commercials or advertising. It's functioning very well on the whole, I believe, and I think it should not be made to try to bear the burden of a function for which it isn't established.
So I don't think we, unless the Soviet Union has gone completely mad, which I refuse to believe, I don't think we're going to have another Vietnam in that part of the world. We may have another war between Arabs and Jews, yes, between Arabs and Israelis, rather. The Arabs are certainly making noises which would indicate they would like to start another round, hopefully this time to win it.
The special committee today heard from the two Dallas vending machine operators most frequently mentioned in earlier testimony. Their attitudes were exact opposites. C.E. Bradshaw of National Vending was accompanied to the witness stand by two lawyers. Before any questions were asked, Attorney Whitley Sessions announced that Bradshaw would not give any information because he claims the committee is not legal. Sessions believes the committee's authority ended when the special session of the legislature ended.
Sessions indicated that Bradshaw would testify only if the committee sought him out. Quoting, "He does not want to be put in the position of telling the legislature how to go about its business," Sessions said of his client. "But if they want to talk to him, he certainly will testify," close quote. Mr. Bradshaw, was that statement correct at the time it was made?
I refuse to answer on the
your counsel previously stated.
reason the counsel previously stated.
Committee Chairman Dick Corey said that consideration will be given to filing criminal charges against Bradshaw for refusing to testify. Corey maintains the committee's authority extends into January. The other vending operator, E.L. Certain of Certain Music Company, was completely open with the committee and gave an answer to every question. He confirmed many of the financial arrangements between vending companies and taverns. Certain denied any connection with prostitution, saying the vendors don't like anything that might taint the business. At the conclusion, Chairman Corey said an executive session will be held within 2 weeks to decide about any action against Bradshaw and to decide when and where to resume the hearings elsewhere in Texas. This is Roger McDonald, Channel 8 News.
Mr. Gervasi, could the Middle East conceivably turn out to be another situation such as Vietnam with either the United States, Russia, or Red China involved?
Conceivably, yes, but it's pretty far-fetched to think of it in terms of another Vietnam because the terrain is different, for one thing. This isn't an area of deep jungles and quagmires and heavily forested mountains. This is rather flat country, desert, open. So from a military point of view, it couldn't be another Vietnam. From the standpoint of the involvement of outside powers, which is what I think you mean, I prefer to believe that the Soviet Union would not be so brash as to become involved directly militarily, because we do, after all, have the Truman Doctrine, the Eisenhower Doctrine, and what might be called the Johnson Doctrine of a year ago last August, in which he made it very plain that we would not permit any outside power or any other power to destroy one of the nations of the Middle East.